Well, for a start, I don't think that, she's, forget the enigmatic part of it. I don't think that she's actually shown anyone what she stands for. I've heard her mostly speak about her dadi and her, her family, and how she's, everyone in the family is a fighter, etc., etc. Now, I actually think that she's kind of stuck in a time warp, because I think that India has gone a little bit beyond all that. The dadi is not remembered so much anymore. And we don't know, what is her politics? What does she want to do? But more than that, to tell you the truth, as an Indian, I'm a little embarrassed. I mean, here is the ruling family of the Congress party, three of them in parliament. It shows two things to me. One, they have done more to build up the family than the party. I would have liked to see them do the opposite, because I don't think that the Gandhis have shown in the past 10 years that they continue to have that vote getting appeal that they used to once have. So, it would have been much better for them to have built the party, to have spent a lot of time building the party. All they've done is to, produce one family member after the other in the safest seat for the Congress party in India. So, I mean, it reflects badly on that. To me, it reflects badly on them. It reflects badly on India. Makes us look like a kind of, two-bit democracy, where, because you see, this is not a state assembly. This is India's parliament. And three members of the ruling family are sitting there. What are we, a kind of, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look good.
But you may have that view. The Congress has clearly decided that the BJP has run out of steam on this issue. It doesn't seem to make a difference to their electoral prospects.
Well, if the BJP had run out of steam, then the Congress would have won Haryana, and the Congress would have done much better in Kashmir than they've just done. And in UP, in the Lok Sabha elections, it was Akhilesh Yadav really who made the difference. Let's not forget that. So, the Congress is already flying on this idea that, that just as before, the Gandhi family was the great Indian dynasty that could always win seats. I'm not sure that they've read it right.
So this is, let me bring in Sugata here. Sugata, you have previously spoken about different dynamics. You remember that time when Robert Vadra would keep saying that he wants to join politics, and you said maybe he's actually making a pitch for his wife. We don't know, and we may never know. But one thing that has happened is that as Priyanka Gandhi files her affidavit, not just have her own movable and immovable assets been put on record, so have her husband's, and it has given the opportunity to the BJP to target Vadra in a way that hasn't happened for a while, because they seem to have run out of steam on that issue as well. What do you make of this moment, Sugata?
Thank you, Barkha. I mean, Neerja ji and Tavleen ji have both spoken about the political dynamics. No, but there's one point that I would like to put forth. Purely, I mean, I would like to hold them on account on the point of democratic principle. See, Rahul Gandhi, the whole of 2024, the run up to the general elections, and even in 23, has been speaking about saving democracy, save constitution. That has been their biggest pitch. Now, if you try to bring your sister, and if there are three members of the Gandhi family in parliament, then what happens to that principle, that position that you've taken about saving democracy? Is it about saving the family or about saving democracy? Becomes a very important question. Because let me, let me recall this quote of B.R. Ambedkar, in 1949, when the constitution was being, accepted in November of 1949. He quoted John Stuart Mill, and he said something very interesting. He said, "Don't put your liberties at the feet of even a great man, or trust him with powers which enable him to subvert institutions." So if Rahul Gandhi is going around India waving the constitution, the pocket edition of it, and speaking about saving democracy, I think this is a very, very hugely contradictory move on their part. As Tavleen ji rightly said, or I think you said, they have, like the BJP has become a little brazen about a few things, about Hindutva or something else. The Congress has also become brazen about the family. So there are two polarities in Indian politics, sadly, and people like us who are counted as liberals, lazily sort of, latch on to the whole liberal agenda by putting the Congress forward. I think it's a lazy thing, and we are not working enough, hard enough to create a social democratic space that is independent of the Congress and the BJP. Of course, BJP is not even in the picture, but then independent of the Congress. So if you don't do that, then I think we'll have to tolerate the family perpetually. And there's one other point, Barkha, because Rahul Gandhi has also been speaking about caste a lot. I think perpetuation, dynastic perpetuation of any kind, is also a mirror to the caste system in India, because somebody labors and somebody rules. That hierarchy is sort of implicitly brought into the idea of the dynastic game. So, as I said, I don't want to hold them, I don't want to make a political comment, but, hold them to account on democratic principle. So I think this
Yeah.
is where I stand. Yeah.
That's an interesting point, and I want Neerja to respond to that. I think the point both Sugata and Tavleen seem to say that it doesn't reflect well on the larger democracy debate, that the Congress itself has not just championed but made the centerpiece, at least of its Lok Sabha campaign in 2024. If the family is so dominant that all three members are going to be in parliament. Now, is this something that only sort of well-heeled liberals are angsting over? Has the Congress decided that we don't care? Clearly, the Congress has decided we don't care. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. The fact is, she's tipped to win. She is going to be a member of parliament, and then can begin all these questions. What do you stand for? What is your own view? What is your own personality? Is it just an extension of Rahul Gandhi's? Those come later. But on the philosophical debate around having one family dominate a party, does that reconcile with Rahul Gandhi's politics of social justice, save the constitution, save democracy?
Look, Barkha, as far as the democratic principle is concerned, I agree with both the panelists. If we continue in this fashion, our democracy is going to get limited to 500 families. There is no doubt about that. But you have the, peculiar phenomenon. The Congress party turns to the Nehru Gandhi family. Why? Because they think that they keep them united as a party. Why? They think they get them votes. In between, there was a period when they were getting 45 or 52 Lok Sabha seats. Yes, their leadership had come under question. But even then, at that time, they did not throw them out and go for somebody else. Of course, they opted for Mr. Kharge. But that too was, in response to this kind of criticism. But actually, the decisions are being made by the family. The decisions, even when Rahul Gandhi was not the Congress president for those 3.5 years, and Sonia Gandhi was the interim president, all the decisions were made by Rahul Gandhi. And as far as entitlement is concerned, even today, with say the brother and the sister are there in the Lok Sabha, they are going to get the first chance to speak in Parliament as compared to the others. So all this is given, and yet our people keep turning back to the dynasties. And Prime Minister talked about, criticized Parivarvad. But you look at Jammu and Kashmir, J&K turned firmly back to National Conference and the Abdullah family. You look at Akhilesh Yadav, who was on the upswing in Uttar Pradesh in the Lok Sabha elections. He fielded only 5 candidates from his party who were Yadavs. Only 5 Yadavs. They were all from the family and they won. Yeah. So, and of course the Gandhi family. And you look at all around the country. So, unless the Congress party says, no, we will have somebody else, they have, they are not prepared to accept one another. We saw this during Narasimha Rao's time. The kind of difficulties he ran into because they were not prepared to accept him. They would much rather have one of the members of the Nehru Gandhi family. So this is a hard, unpleasant, painful reality that we have to contend with today.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that, where are these other parties that are non-dynastic? Yes, Modi could argue that he doesn't represent a dynasty, to which the Congress would say, well, you have the other parivar, the Sangh parivar. But Tavleen, the questions or the comments coming in, for example, Prasad says, Barkha, Priyanka can speak assertively without a prepared speech and not necessarily come off as being angry. She will do much better than Rahul Gandhi in the Lok Sabha. This is interesting. These comparisons have begun, but they're right now about style, not substance. The point that Neerja is making is also that when you look at parties in other states, they don't necessarily come off much better on the issue of family dominated politics or individual dominated politics. Even a party like the Aam Aadmi Party, which didn't come from a family, it is a Kejriwal dominated party. Trinamool Congress is a Mamta dominated party. These are not parties with open elections where the leader is chosen in a kind of, primaries driven way.
When it comes to regional parties, it's less important in my view. I don't think there should be hereditary democracy anywhere, because I believe it actually harms democracy. Really, in its gut, it's a kick in the gut for democracy, because people who have worked all their lives, maybe in a constituency, to really help the people, are pushed aside for some little princeling or princess to come along, and it doesn't help. The reason why the royal families of India are all in politics is because when they saw what was going on, they thought, well, this is a game we can play very well. So you've got, democratic feudalism, in fact. But, I think that when it comes to the Congress party, Neerja was saying that they've accepted this rule. They cannot do anything else, because in the past 10 years, or when did Sonia Gandhi become Congress president? Since 1997. She has made sure that anyone who can challenge her children is pushed aside. They've all left. She's created a party which is designed to be a family business. Now, for instance, when there was that election when Tharoor was taking on Kharge, he had the blessing, so-called, of the family to have a fair election. It wasn't a fair election. We know that. So, she really, Sonia Gandhi has put her family over the interests of democracy and of India. And this is one of the reasons why I think that Indian democracy is weaker. And what is really sad is there is room for a party to take on the BJP, because there's an ugliness that has spread in the past few years with all this Hindutva rubbish and all that going on. There is an ugliness. So if there is a party that really stands for the values that the Congress party used to stand for, they could take on Modi really well. They might have even won if that party already existed.
But they would, but they would argue that by bringing BJP down to the numbers it fell to in the Lok Sabha of 2024 without a majority of its own, that a large credit of that goes to Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. It goes to the hard work he put in. That Rahul Gandhi, as Yogendra Yadav likes to say, earned his inheritance.
Oh, come on. India is not a personal jaidad of anyone. So that really shocks me that he should say that. But, how many seats did Akhilesh Yadav win in UP? That was the main difference. If the BJP had won those...
But Akhilesh is a dynast as well. Akhilesh is a dynast as well.
I'm saying to you, I keep repeating over and over again, I don't think it matters that much in a state. And where did it all start? It started with Indira Gandhi and Sanjay under the shadow of the emergency. That was the beginning of it. So if at the top you have a role model that the only other national party in India has followed for, everyone's going to follow it. And it also indicates, as everyone knows, that there's money to be made in politics. They're not interested in the country. They're interested in keeping the family business, going. That's what it is.